Okay, so this video on the perks being a wallflower, I'm sorry I'm the third person to cover this, but it's very important, comes in the same parts as a Dark Wizard Soul. So, 8. Part 1. Charlie. Charlie is a 15-year-old who has just started high school. He has no friends, and the only person who seems to like him is his English teacher, who he calls Bill. The book is a series of letters from Charlie to a friend, presumably the reader. Charlie is described as a wallflower, meaning that he's very understated, he doesn't really show off, but he's likeable. However, one day he decides to go to a football game, which leads him to part 2, Patrick. Patrick is a senior, and he's a bit quirky, odd, but still very nice. We find out later in the novel that he's gay and has been having a secret relationship with the star quarterback, Brad. Charlie first meets him when he's with a girl who Charlie assumes is his girlfriend, which leads me on to part 3, Sam. Sam is Patrick's stepsister, and Charlie immediately develops a crush on her. Okay, so part 4, family. Charlie's family is rather central to the novel. Even though they don't have names, he sees his sister being hit by her boyfriend, but explains that his dad and mum never hit him. Part 5, School. As previously mentioned, Charlie does not really fit in school, he kind of drifts along. However, he finds friends in Sam and Patrick and their group of friends who are all seniors, and things seem to be going pretty well. He has a girlfriend, Mary Elizabeth. He eventually gets in a fight with all his friends over Mary Elizabeth, and it kind of starts the deeper side to the novel. Part 6, arguably the most important part, Aunt Helen. Charlie's Aunt Helen came to live with them when he was little to escape from what the reader presumes is an abusive relationship. We find out that she has died, and Charlie misses her greatly. However, something is wrong. Which brings me to part 7, Remembering. I don't want to spoil this for anyone who hasn't read it, but for me this part is the hardest part to talk about in a video. Up until this point we think Charlie is relatively fine. Not happy, but not entirely unhappy either. That is until he starts having blackouts, can't remember what's been going on, and has flashbacks to the night his aunt died, and possibly before. After a whole book of putting this figure, Aunt Helen, on a pedestal, the reader comes to realise that she wasn't the nice person she seemed, and not at all the supportive family member that Charlie says she was. It turns out that she had been abusing Charlie for quite some time. Yeah, I'm sorry. This was the hardest part to read for me, personally. I don't know how the other guys read it or whether it affected them so strongly, but I couldn't even cry. It was beyond crying. I sort of walked around in a daze for about a day. Maybe this was partly what the character Charlie felt when he realised. Repressed memories are quite a common feature of abuse at an early age. It's not surprising that he didn't know. It just makes it even more shocking. It's quite scary. Part 8, An Apology. Sorry for this video being fairly sombre, but I felt like this was something I needed to talk about. This book has helped me through a lot, and I figure no amount of video footage is going to do it justice. Really sorry that it's been so depressing and low-key. Hopefully I'll be able to do something a bit lighter in 2 weeks. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to read yet, but I'll try and find something funny. Okay?